Hello. Let me turn this down. I'm doing a special episode, y'all. Sorry. The topic of it is healing within yourself. This topic is especially for the women because when life hits you in a certain type of way, you have to react in a certain type of way to express it. I had a friend of mine that I used to work with a long time ago, and I'd known her and her husband for a long, long, long time. Apparently, their marriage was coming to an end. Uh, this is definitely an eye opener. She was just asking me for my advice and what she should do. Now, normally, I would give good advice, in which I gave her good advice, but at the end of the day, I felt like the advice I give a person, I should follow that myself. When you are in a situation where your marriage or relationship is coming to the end, ladies, this is real life shit here. This is not like, oh, it's over with, just move on. No, especially when your heart is invested in it for so many fucking years. Sorry for the language, but I have to get this out. I was always taught and raised that when you give your heart to somebody, they give you your full heart in return. Now, my situation has really taken a turn where I'm trying to make sense of why and how to fix it. Sometimes we women don't expect what hit us until it hits us. And when it does, when I tell you ladies, it's not a good feeling. Especially when you feel like it's not all your fault. And if both person in the relationship takes accountability, then fine. And this is the thing. Me, myself personally, if I'm dealing with something and I know something ain't right, I will definitely acknowledge it, even though I wouldn't understand it. But I'll realize, like, I didn't know this was happening, because you don't get a clear understanding of what's going on because they don't give you the clear information when you thought everything was good, and all of a sudden things get bottled up and people want to say, well, you know what? I can't do this. I tried and tried. But what's the explanation of it all? Explanation. Sorry. I'm tongue tired. No, but um, it's a gut wrenching feeling when you going through that type of situation and you want to know why and how and the areas that went wrong into the relationship. It is definitely important to figure out those triggers in the relationship, even if you're not aware that it happened and why. And then sometimes we women, when we love hard, especially when you love a man and you know he was a good man and you've done areas and it's areas in the relationship that you know that you didn't do right, but you take accountability. Just take accountability. Even when the man doesn't listen and he thinks it's going the other way when it's really the truth. I'm going through a certain situation where now I have to go a different direction in my life that I didn't even expect it. I always thought forever wasn't a long term, or, you always believe in fairy tales, but you didn't know it would come to an end so suddenly. Like I said, this is not to bash anybody or to bash anybody that that I know that's going through it, or bashing the one that I was with for a long time. It's nothing like that. I'm just used to fighting and fighting through the situation and still get to the bottom of the root of the problem. When we women go through things like that and we try to make a man, explain and actually listen to us word for word why we feel a certain way and why we want this to work, and they be like, no, I ain't gonna do it. I can't keep doing this. I can't. But in reality, they're not looking at your situation of what you're going through. It's a hard, tough feeling. And I told my friend, and I said, well, you know what? It's good to just take time for yourself. Now, it's okay. But when you feel like you're being ignored and you feel like nobody's listening to you, and even if you're trying to talk to him again and make him understand, still trying to make it work, sometimes it don't even make us weak. We just know that it could be worked out, but they're not willing to participate. And when you're the only one that's fighting, and that's not fair on your part, especially when you're going through a certain situation as a woman and you've done everything you can. Yes, the situation went bad, but you also have to look at the good on what you've done for that person. Like, you've been there through thick and thin with them. You had their back. You never turn your back on them. You've been loyal. That does some of those count in a relationship, even when stuff goes bad and we lack on certain things, like, oh, the disconnection was there. It's always a solution to get that connection back. That's only if they're willing to participate, to want to make it work, if you love that person. My parents was together for dang near 45, 46, 7 years. Like, they've been through the trenches. Even they didn't ever believe in divorce or separation. They didn't want to split us apart. They didn't want to do none of that. That's why I keep, saying, like, I'm used to fighting. If y'all women used to fighting for y'all relationship, man, and he's still doing, whatever he wants to do, sometimes you have to learn to just take time for yourself. And for 4 months straight, I've been seeing this therapist. She's been a very deep person, that she feels my pain because she went through it. And she's telling me ways on how to deal with certain things. And I'm expressing it. And I feel like it doesn't mean anything. But even though, hopefully in the future, when you tell the person that you love on why you wanted to make it work again, it's always another chance. When you didn't really have that chance to actually work through that, and you just say, I'm throwing in the towel, and you don't know what the situation, why it happened, you just fight. Sometimes when you throw in the towel and they just say, you know what, you can, a woman, they'll look at you like you talking to you boo in the face. They'll look at you like, oh, you just now doing this, or you just not saying it. It's not even about that. It's about wanting to make that change. And for 4 months, I've learned to make any type of changes that I'm going through. And going forward in my life, I got great things coming to me. But at the same time, you have to have closure with the one that you are with. You have to have that communication. You can't just walk around, ignore. When you feeling ignored and you feeling like you are non-existent to that person, and they know that you don't deserve that, sometimes it's just better to just sit back and just say, you know what, I'm just going to back up. I'm just going to let, him do him. But at the end of the day, you want to find out. Always want to find out information on why. And, even if it's another person, you can still be okay with that. I've learned to be okay. Even if somebody else in that person's life, ladies, if it's either somebody that they want to be around or they've been talking to for a while you was going through this is why when men still need to be honest, even though if that truth hurts, it still has to be said. So that's where you get the clarity in. When you feel like you have been honest and you being dishonest, this person or your mate or your woman or man are being dishonest with you, that they're doing something wrong and they're not coming to you forward and being honest with you about it, that's where the problem lies. And when you are in a hurt stage, it's you have to heal. It's a hard feeling. And this is really to my women and then to myself, because you can still, sometimes you fall out of love with a person, but in reality, you can still, it's ways that you can gain that love back if like I said, if you're willing to participate in making it stronger. But sometimes when the towel is thrown in there and they don't want to fight anymore, sometimes you just got to face reality. Even when you see them with somebody else, it always happens that way. But in reality, some of us women, we don't want to just move on so quickly like that, especially when you've been in a long-term relationship, especially when you in there for a dub. That's like 20 years, okay? If it's a dub, yes. Or more than that, or 17. That's a long term. That's long-term heart. Putting your heart in somebody that you love, and you still want to be there for that person, and you still want to just say, I'm here if you still need me. It's just like, even if they turn their back on you, even if they don't give you that communication, you have to consider that, especially when the kids are involved. Sometimes the kids get affected too. That's what men and women don't get. Sometimes, they'll be like, oh, the kid's going to be all right. We're going to work it out. Yeah, but you're not looking at the big picture. It's, your kids are definitely going to ask questions, or why did this happen? Why are we going house to house? And sometimes they'll understand, yes, but they're young. But when they get older, they're going to really ask questions. Sometimes you got to explain it, but it's okay. So women, if you are in that situation and you put all your love and your energy in that person, you try to make it work, whatever that was messed up, and you felt like that person didn't want to try, just always remember that you did your best, and you know that you've been a good woman to that person, and you know you've been there through thick and thin, through everything, through the patches, through everything. It don't matter. You was there. You didn't leave. You was loyal. You was trustworthy. You didn't cheat. You didn't do none of that. You was loyal to that person. So don't beat yourself up. And in those therapy sessions that I went through a lot. And on top of dealing with losing my family members in between all of this was happening. This is why people don't understand why it affects us so. And I had to rebuild my self-love, my confidence, because I know that God has plans for me going forward. But at the end of the day, I want y'all women to always remember something. You are strong. You are powerful. You are beautiful. You are at your best self. Live your best life, even when the situations is bad. I'm learning it every single day. It's a challenge. You pass that challenge every day, and you have to look at yourself in the mirror and say, you got to be strong for your kids that you love so, so very much. Even when the man you love and they don't respond to you and they don't want to be communicating with you or whatever, it's not your fault. Maybe things happen where sometimes a man or a woman has to find themselves. Sometimes you got to separate to make that relationship better. Even if y'all not together, just build that strong bond once again that you had, even as friends. So like I said, this is my story, but I want you guys to remember something. Your heart can be broken, but it can only be repaired in a certain amount of time. Your life, your goals, you still got to continue to work every day. You still got to continue to grind and make money and be at your best self. Me, I've done that. When you try to fight and I was just known to fight all of my life. I learned that from my mom and dad. So I fight through anything. I'm just as strong as they come. Just because I express my feelings to people that I love or I'm with, or we're not together or whatever, don't make me weak at all. There's no weak bone in my body, baby. But at the end of the day, my heart is genuine, and I still love, and I've always been loyal through everything. So, ladies, just think about your heart. Rebuild and reconnect your heart again so you can love yourself again and be at peace. Sometimes we need that. Take time out. Even if you got to take a drive, just do that. Learn to love yourself again. Learn the person you was before you got in a relationship. That's all. And I promise you, your love will return to you in the most positive way. We love.